OSHA so long to get into the act and do something?
You know, I actually am not sure exactly. I think that, you know, they're I don't know. I don't really know the answer to that. It's a great question. I mean, I think they did, you know, a bang-up job getting in there. The investigation was perfect in my mind when they finally were able to sort of enter into the, you know, into the fortress that had been kept closed for however many years SeaWorld's been around. They did this amazing investigation. So, you know, I'm really not sure. I don't know if anybody really knows the answer here.
So one thing that Gabriella mentioned is that there's a culture, right? There's a SeaWorld culture, and that culture is extraordinarily closed. It's closed to outsiders. So when you're a trainer and you're on the inside, you get to see all this stuff going on. But if you're on the outside and you want to get a glimpse behind the curtain, it doesn't happen. And so whether you're OSHA or you know, a person who's skeptical of captivity in general, whatever the case is, it's closed off to you. It's very, very difficult to open that curtain and pull it back. And so I think the curtain is beginning to be pulled back, as you saw this evening, and there's an awful lot of people working on behalf of, you know, keeping this curtain pulled back so that more people become educated on the realities of what's going on. So it's very, very difficult to crack into the culture.
I wonder if any of you maintain contacts with people who are still at SeaWorld, and if what those conversations are like.
Man, that's difficult because I just left SeaWorld last August, so I've only been gone for about 6 months, and you know, I knew I was going to lose friendships when all this happened, but the people that are closest to me understand, and you know, and me personally, I'm in the spot where my friends that are still in this industry, I get it, that they're in it right now, and this is their livelihood, and I cannot expect people to be at the exact same place that I am at today, because this was a process for me. It took me years to get here. You know, I started in 1993, and I just left in August. So, you know, it takes a while. It's a process. I can't hold it against my friends that are still there. But I definitely have received the hate mail from some and lost those friends. And then the ones who truly love me, I mean, you know, there's no problem. We're still together. We still love each other. And nothing's going to change that.
I was just going to say, I lost a bunch of friends on Facebook. That's really it.
In the hat.
Hi. You know, two parts of the question is, one is during the filming and now as you get ready to go into distribution, has SeaWorld done anything overtly to try and, you know, kind of blow up your efforts to succeed?
No, they haven't. They've issued some statements, and you know, that we failed to sort of mention that they take care of, you know, the safety of their trainers are of utmost importance to them, and they care for their whales, you know, a great deal, and take care of them. So those were the things that the statements that have come out publicly.
And then the second question is that, I guess as creative producer, director, whatever, film, that middle of the road kind of policy taken instead of being a little more activistic, you said you want a little more harsher with the truth on some of the issues, you know, that are here. I think is you felt that would be a better, broader way to kind of make the point.
I did. I felt really strongly about that because, for a couple reasons. One, because I was a mom who took her kids to SeaWorld. So I did not have any activist skin in the game at that time. For me, I was coming into the entire story sort of bright-eyed and you know, hoped to interview SeaWorld and wanted them to be a voice in the documentary from the beginning. And you know, that wasn't so. That didn't come to fruition. So really all I could do is just tell the story. And that is, you know, a fact is a fact. And so if you start at the beginning and you don't try to tell your audience what to feel or what to think or what they should sort of have felt, you know, instead of taking their kids to SeaWorld, they should have seen, you know, the truth. I don't really believe in that. I think we just all have our own sort of evolutions in that, and I just sort of wanted to pull back the curtain, and I guess I sort of trust that people are smart enough to get what it is that they should be getting at that point in their lives. You know, it took me however many, you know, I'm 40, it took me all this time, you know, years of going to SeaWorld to sort of come to my own realizations about it, but, you know, you're all individuals, you just sort of have to make your own decisions. So all I can do is sort of show you the facts.
In the middle, Claudia.
Oh, I have a two-part question. One is Don Bradshaw family. You just showed the sister. I wondered if maybe there'd been a lawsuit and the parents were instructed not to speak, or if they just chose not to. The other part was if you'd heard anecdotally at all from anybody at SeaWorld, what they think of the documentary.
I think for the first question, I don't know about, you know, lawsuits or any of that in terms of Don's family. I do know that they were not, you know, participants in the film, as you can see. I mean, I actually thought they would be, and I kind of wanted that in the beginning. I really wanted her to be represented up here much more, so you sort of knew her. But that again didn't happen. So you know, I think she's got a big family, and I think they're really focused on sort of healing. And one thing I learned is that sometimes healing is, or I guess, you know, finding every bit of the truth and reliving the day, the incident, over and over again, maybe is not conducive to sort of the healing process. So I really do understand that. And in terms of, you know, second question. About anecdotally, no, we really haven't. I mean, we have not heard from sort of inside SeaWorld what they're thinking.
David?
I'm just wondering, I assume you had access to more graphic footage, and what was your thinking about what you were going to use and when you were going to cut it short?
Yeah, no, thanks for that question, because there's always more that you can use, and more stories, and much more graphic footage. You know, I think this was incredibly hard for me, because it's all about sort of self-restraint and discipline. If I stuck with my directive to tell a factual story, I couldn't just start throwing stuff in there to make you feel something, you know? I just wanted to be honest, and also didn't want you guys to all sort of smell a rat, like, wow, I'm smelling the agenda every second, you know? Sort of just wanted to, like, show you what, you know, some truthful facts for 80 minutes. And so I think there's other facts and other things that were pretty well vetted that aren't in there, and it's just not, it's not a part of this story, so they weren't in there.
Gentlemen, here.
Can you tell me what venues will be people go to see this film?
Well, we've been privileged enough to be picked up by Magnolia Pictures, and we will be coming to theaters midsummer. And then we will be coming to CNN Films in the fall. So there will be a release, a theatrical release this summer.
If somebody wanted to go see it next week,
Come back to the Miami International Film Festival next Saturday, I think, right?
Sunday.
Next Sunday. As a film festival, we are doing the festival circuit, so there are opportunities in different cities until the opening, and then but you know, and those will probably be on our Facebook and will be announced, and then the actual release, the theatrical release, will be this summer.
and what kind of, and finally, have you had any pressures to inhibit the distribution of this film? Are there factors out there that are trying to stop as much as possible the showing of this film?
You know, we're still just in the first kind of the inception of releasing this and showing it to public audiences. So we have not heard anything yet. Mm-hmm.
How many SeaWorld parks are there in the U.S.? Is it a publicly owned corporation? And how much are trainers paid?
I'll start with that one. There were 4 SeaWorld parks. There was SeaWorld of Orlando, there was SeaWorld of San Antonio, SeaWorld of California, and SeaWorld of Ohio. I believe Ohio is now a Six Flags park, so there's 3 SeaWorld parks. You saw in the movie that that there's also Laurel Parquet, which is actually affiliated with SeaWorld in terms that their whales belong there and they have trainers that go there, but it's not a SeaWorld park. It is a publicly held company. It used to be owned, when I was there, it had just moved from Harcourt, Brace, and Jovanovic, which was a publishing company. It had just been picked up by Anheuser-Busch, who ran it until very shortly before Don was killed, and the company that picked them up was Blackstone. And now Blackstone is in the process of spinning them off as an initial public offering. So that's where they stand there. And then as far as trainer pay, I can tell you what I was paid. I started at Whale and Dolphin Stadium in February of 1990 for $7.50 an hour as an apprentice trainer. And when I left after 3.5 years, having worked at all 3 stadiums, I was trainer level, which was one before the senior level, and I was making $12.50 an hour, and that was in 1993.
So it's an hourly wage?
It's an hourly wage. Most people think that it's something else, like a contract employee, but it's an hourly wage.
No benefits?
No, I did have benefits. There was an HMO medical benefit that I had, so yes. I think you had an option of 3 different medical benefits at the time, and there was a retirement plan that you could participate in, so yeah.
We'll take you, yeah.
I have a question for the trainers. How do you feel about human beings' fascination with capture of wild animals? Now that you've been to this, how do you feel about it?
Well, sure. As I stated in the documentary, I have, now she's 5 years old. She was 3.5 in the documentary. But, I don't want my little Maya to think that this is what we do as humans, right? Just because we can doesn't mean that we should. And that seems to be our modus operandi on this planet. And I think that's wrong. So I'm going to try to do everything that I can in my power to help educate Maya on maybe a little softer way to walk around on the planet. So that's my take on it. And my take was firmed up by my experience as an orca trainer and seeing these animals in these tiny concrete bathtubs every day. And so I left with a sincere distaste for this whole thing.
Take a couple more questions and we can move the conversation outside. Yes, right there, young man.
What was your favorite whale that you worked with?
My favorite was Takara. And I love all the whales, but Takara, because she was special to me because I worked with her for so many years. And I worked with her in the California park, I worked with her in the Texas park. I swam with her when she was pregnant, and I inseminated her, actually. Yeah, I should clarify. I was part of the insemination process, the training. Thank you for helping me with that, Sam. Yeah, so that's a very important distinction. But I love her so much, and it was brutal to leave her, and I was close to her mother, Kasaka, also, and I just have been in so many situations with Takara throughout the years, and so many times where she saved my butt, and she had been upset about something, and I believe completely that my relationship with her is what got me through those situations. So just such a long history with her over the years, and swam with her for so many years and in different parks. So love them all, but I think we all have a whale like that that's special to us, and for me personally it was Takara.
Yeah, the young man there.
Have you guys ever been attacked by one of the whales before?
Yeah, I have. I've been in several different waterwork aggressions. They're not fun, but an interesting, for me, and for most of the people that I've worked with that have been in similar waterwork aggressions, you would think that it would be a very frightening experience for you, and like when you're held under the water, that the dominating thing in your mind would be, how long am I going to be held under? When is this whale going to let me to the surface? But your feelings are hurt. in that process. I mean, you know, when I'm being drugged under the water, what's going through my head is like, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this to me. You know, we're so close, you know, but so it's an interesting thing that happens in your brain. And I do believe that, and there's always exceptions to the rule, and unfortunately I think that, you know, Don is one of those examples, but, you know, the stronger relationship that you have with that animal, the stronger trainer you are behaviorally, the less likely something is to happen, or the more likely, if something does happen, the more likely you're going to be able to get out of it. There's going to be a window of opportunity to hopefully redirect that animal and get out of there safely, but not always.
So as you said, Gabriella, Magnolia Pictures is going to be releasing this film. That's the company that released Man on Wire and Food Inc. and so many other great documentaries. How can people keep track of this film on Facebook or Twitter or other ways?
We're on Facebook, Blackfish the movie. We're on Twitter, so other people know much. At Blackfish movie on Twitter. And hashtag Blackfish. And then, and it's just going to be increasing from there. And so, yeah, the announcements of all the release dates and all that will be on there.
We can keep this conversation going out in the hallway. Thank you very much.